Have you ever asked a question that you never got the answer to? Well, today, we'll be looking at 5 unanswered questions in the Pokemon universe that have yet to be officially answered. And since I'm definitely going to accidentally mention a question that's already been answered, I got nothing. But if you've ever had a burning question in your head about the Pokemon universe, well, you found the right video to discuss your theories in the comments as we touch upon the unanswered mysteries of the Pokemon universe. So without further ado, welcome everyone to the 5 unanswered questions in Pokemon. Number 5. Pokemon have some unique names. Except for you, Krabby. But how exactly did each Pokemon get those names in the Pokemon universe? And why do a lot of them repeat their own name? It might be easy to say that Pokemon professors and scientists just gave them the names after analyzing them, but then how do you explain some of their cries? Did the Pokemon adapt to being given a name and use that to communicate with humans? Or were they already saying their own names and professors just said, yeah, screw it, that's good enough for me, who's gonna fire me? I find that the most likely scenario has to be a combination of the two, since it's likely some Pokemon had cries like in the video games, and possibly over time adapted to being given a name by the professors. Whereas some Pokemon might not have had the vocal cords or ability to say their given name. Either that, or they were upset about getting a dumb name and were like, no, I'm not saying that, I'm just gonna keep going, Rrr. Number 4. A bunch of common questions that are asked surround the happenings behind Pokeballs. What exactly happens inside a Pokeball? Is it a haven for Pokemon, shrinking them down and giving them a bunch of room to play around in? Or possibly turning them into data, which would go hand in hand with explaining how they are stored in the PC. Also, what happens when a Pokeball breaks after a Pokemon escapes? Is it biodegradable, or are there just pieces of scrap metal all over the place from broken Pokeballs? Do they hire janitors to clean up forests that are just filled with pieces of Pokeballs? Then who would be paying them? What legal governing system does the Pokemon universe have to be paying invisible janitors to clean up broken pieces of Pokeballs everywhere? Oh wait, that makes sense why that janitor's in the forest. Imagine what something like the Seafoam Islands in Generation 1 must look like after you threw 50 Ultra Balls at Articuno and he broke out from 49 of them. Number 3. One of the biggest mysteries that is yet to be discovered is what exactly is underneath a Diglett or Dugtrio. We have memes, we have lots of different jokes, but there have actually been many references alluding towards the bottom half of the Diglett family. In the anime, you can even see someone holding up a Dugtrio in their hands. The little patch of dirt is still there, so you can't see its lower half, however. Then, in Mystery Dungeon, you have Diglett referencing its feet, which means there has to be something underneath the dirt that is yet to be shown. But what exactly does it look like? I mean, it could just look like a typical little mole. They could have tiny arms and feet, but it would have to be pretty small seeing as the amount of dirt covering their lower half does not look to be too much. Guess we'll just have to dig up the dirt around Diglett ourselves. Number 2. Lugia has had its moments in the anime, being the star of one of the movies and making an appearance in the later episodes. With a kid. It has a child. But if my research and years of playing Dr. Mario are correct, Lugia, and for the most part, any legendary Pokemon, cannot breed. Which means, how does it have a kid? And how did it breed? It's supposed to be genderless, which means there wouldn't be a male and female Lugia, but then there might also be more Lugia? You know what? Maybe the professors are just bad at assuming Pokemon's genders and are clearly mislabeling Lugia. My 100% factual and real theory is that one day, a Ditto saw Lugia, the same Lugia from the movie, and the only one in the Pokemon universe, and then decided to transform into a baby Lugia. And regular Lugia was surprised, thinking it randomly gave birth while it was asleep, and took great care of it, making the little Ditto feel bad and forcing it to never transform back. Or Mew is just trolling Lugia. Either way, it is still a mystery as to how there is even a baby Lugia, and brings up the question of whether or not there are more than one of each legendary Pokemon, and if they can breed. Number 1. Where are all the dads? There's about to be 7 generations, and we've seen one dad. I mean, they mention them sometimes. Palmer mentioned your dad in the 4th generation when you beat him for the 2nd time. Your mom mentions your dad in Kalos, and even IGN said you have a dad in Sun and Moon, but no one talks about what happened to him. Where are all the dads? I'm sure they're all on their own journeys, being Pokemon masters, or still picking up the milk from 7 years ago, having to fight their way back home. But wouldn't you bump into at least one of them? They might not even be in the same region as you, but maybe in another generation, you could bump into, say, Red's dad. or even Blue's for that matter. I really hope they do something with your dad in Generation 7. Maybe make him the main character for a really cool after quest, or he's the real secret leader of Team Skull. You know, something to cause a good old-fashioned emotional storyline. It would be really cool to have more of a storyline with your family, knowing what happens to them. Maybe even for one generation, you could have your brother or sister as a rival. Something like that would definitely be a cool and appreciated feature. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Sorry for the shorter videos these past weeks. I've been sick, and also other life stuff. But no worries, soon we'll be back on track. Yay! Let me know what mysteries of the Pokemon universe you are wondering in the comments below. See you all next time, and until then, keep on catching! See, still sick.